All right, Andrew John here, and I need you to lock in for the next few minutes. What I'm about to share with you is not speculation, it's not theory, and it's not financial doom porn for clicks. This is about a quiet policy framework that has already been adopted by financial regulators in over 24 jurisdictions worldwide, including the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, and Australia. I'm talking about bail-in legislation, and if you don't understand what that means, here's the bottom line. Under this framework, when a systemically important bank fails, your deposits above the insured limit can be converted into equity to recapitalize the institution. You heard that right. Your cash savings, the money you think is safely sitting in your checking or savings account, can legally be used to save the bank. You go from being a depositor with a claim on your money to being a creditor or worse, a shareholder in a failing institution. This isn't coming, it's already here. The Financial Stability Board, the Bank for International Settlements, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation have all signed off on this. The precedent was set in Cyprus in 2013, refined in Italy in 2015, and codified into law across the G20 after the 2008 financial crisis. And here's what's critical. We are now entering a macro environment where the probability of needing these mechanisms is higher than it has been in decades. Global debt to GDP ratios are at all-time highs. Central banks are trapped between inflation and insolvency, and the traditional tools of bailouts and quantitative easing are politically and fiscally exhausted. That means the next crisis will not be solved by printing money and bailing out banks with taxpayer funds. It will be solved by bailing in depositors. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works, why it's not just legal, but inevitable, and most importantly, what you can do right now to protect your wealth and position yourself asymmetrically for what's coming. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear action plan. So stay with me because this is not a drill. Let me introduce you to a concept that will frame everything we discuss today. It's called asymmetric wealth preservation, and it's the only rational framework for navigating systemic financial risk in an era of unprecedented monetary experimentation. Here's how it works. In a traditional investment environment, you're balancing risk and reward in relatively stable conditions. You diversify across stocks, bonds, maybe some real estate, and you assume that the rules of the game stay roughly the same. But we are not in a traditional environment. We are in a regime where the rules themselves are being rewritten in real time, and most investors have no idea it's happening. Isometric wealth preservation is about recognizing that in a system under extreme stress, the downside risk of staying in traditional financial instruments, particularly unsecured bank deposits and long-duration bonds, is catastrophic, while the upside of moving into hard assets, physical precious metals, and decentralized stores of value is exponential. The asymmetry comes from the fact that your risk is capped at what you invest, but your protection is absolute. If you hold physical gold and silver, no regulator, no bank, and no government can convert that into equity in a failing institution. It's outside the system. It's final settlement. And in a world where financial repression, negative real interest rates, and bail-in frameworks are the new normal, that's not just smart, it's essential. The thesis of this video is simple. We are at a critical juncture where the probability of a major banking crisis is rising. The tools to resolve that crisis have shifted from bailouts to bail-ins, and the vast majority of investors are completely unprepared. But here's the opportunity. Those who understand this shift and act now can not only protect their wealth, but position themselves to benefit from the largest wealth transfer in modern history. This isn't about timing the market. It's about understanding the rules of the game and playing a different game entirely. So let's break this down, starting with history, because this has happened before, and the patterns are unmistakable. The first reality of
personal relationships and financial dealings remains central to the ongoing public fascination with the former president and his closest allies. As the spotlight intensifies on the former First Family, new reports are revealing just how closely intertwined financial ambitions and public appearances have been in the Trump household. Observers note that the couple's public image often functions as a carefully curated performance, designed not only to convey unity, but also to reinforce opportunities for financial gain. In the case of Melania Trump, this extends beyond her role as First Lady into media ventures and public engagements, all of which seem timed to capitalize on the continuing attention surrounding the Trump name. The strategy appears deliberate, highlighting the ways in which influence and profitability are inextricably linked for the family. Insiders have begun to outline the mechanisms through which Melania's personal projects have been financially leveraged. From media appearances to public endorsements, every step appears to be aligned with maximizing revenue streams. Analysts suggest that these moves are indicative of a broader pattern, one where personal branding and political association become tools for generating significant income. This perspective sheds light on a facet of public life that is rarely transparent, showing how prominence and wealth can feed off each other in ways that blur the lines between public service and personal enrichment. The timing of these developments is particularly telling. Just as the former president's financial gains are scrutinized, Melania's emerging projects are being highlighted in tandem. This synchrony raises questions about the calculated nature of the couple's approach to media and finance. While many first ladies in history have engaged in philanthropic or professional projects, the Trump family's approach appears more explicitly transactional, emphasizing personal profit alongside public recognition. In essence, the spotlight on Melania serves both to reinforce her public persona and to create tangible economic opportunities. What makes this situation especially compelling is the contrast between public perception and private reality. While the couple's appearances often suggest harmony, insiders indicate that the relationship dynamics are far more complex behind the scenes. Legal filings, combined with investigative reporting, hint that the public narrative may not reflect the underlying personal tensions. This revelation offers a nuanced understanding of how image, power, and financial interest can coexist, often in ways that the public only partially observes. Melania's financial ventures, while notable, are only part of the story. Reports suggest that the couple has consistently used their visibility to create opportunities for both parties. Whether through book deals, media productions, or other high-profile engagements, each initiative seems carefully planned to align with broader goals of income generation. Observers argue that this pattern underscores the uniqueness of the Trump approach to public office, where visibility is leveraged as currency and personal projects are strategically positioned to maximize both exposure and revenue. Commentators like Adam Schiff have highlighted the ethical implications of these strategies. Schiff's critiques often focus on the ways in which the administration blurred the lines between personal profit and public service, framing these activities as emblematic of deeper structural issues. His observations provide context for the ongoing discussion about accountability, suggesting that the financial arrangements surrounding both Donald and Melania Trump reflect a deliberate approach to capitalizing on public roles for private benefit. Another aspect of these revelations involves the timing of media releases and public statements. The proximity of new reports to ongoing court filings implies a deliberate synchronization designed to maintain public interest. This pattern points to an understanding of media cycles and public attention, illustrating how timing can be used strategically to reinforce both narrative and financial objectives. It also highlights the sophistication with which the Trump team manages both image and income, a combination rarely seen at this level of political prominence. Ultimately, part two of this unfolding story underscores a central theme: the intersection of power, image, and money. By examining the financial and personal dynamics at play, a clearer picture emerges of how the former First Family has operated both in public and behind the scenes. The revelations about Melania's role, financially, professionally, and relationally, offer a window into the broader patterns that have defined the Trump administration, illuminating how influence and profit can be intertwined in ways that continue to capture public attention. The phrase, "the family that grifts together stays together," has often been applied to the Trumps, but recent reporting reveals a crucial distinction. While the family may collaborate to profit, they are far from unified in their personal lives. The public narrative of togetherness masks a reality of separation and strategic alliances built around financial gain rather than emotional closeness. Each member has carved out their own profitable ventures, leveraging the Trump name in ways that often overshadow familial bonds. In this environment, loyalty seems contingent on opportunity, and the unifying force of the family is the grift itself. Consider the financial standing of each Trump child and spouse. Eric Trump, for instance, has become a billionaire in his own right, benefiting not just from family associations, but from individual ventures that have capitalized on his proximity to power. Similarly, Don Jr. has secured contracts in the drone industry while also serving on the board of Polymarket, a betting platform with substantial financial influence. These ventures highlight a pattern of leveraging high-profile positions to generate wealth, sometimes through industries that skirt regulatory oversight. The accumulation of wealth appears as much a part of the family's strategy as any political ambition. The types of businesses and platforms the Trumps are associated with raise additional questions. Many of these enterprises, especially gambling-adjacent platforms, have faced scrutiny for their impact on the public. Critics argue that these operations profit massively while simultaneously avoiding regulatory scrutiny through political influence. The Trump family, with members actively embedded in these ventures, seems to benefit from the dual advantage of notoriety and strategic lobbying. Corporate sponsorships, whether for movies, media projects, or other initiatives, become a method of securing access and influence, reinforcing a cycle where visibility and profit are inseparable. One striking example of this complex network is the upcoming Melania Trump movie. The project is not only a financial venture but also illustrates the interconnected nature of the Trump orbit. The director Brett Ratner has his own controversial history, including appearances in Jeffrey Epstein-related files, linking him indirectly to broader scandals. Ratner's career has been shadowed by multiple accusations of harassment and assault, yet he is positioned to helm a $40 million documentary about Melania Trump for Amazon. This collaboration underscores the way high-profile projects in the Trump sphere often intersect with ethically and legally complicated figures, highlighting the complex web of relationships that sustain the family's ventures. Despite the media attention surrounding the Melania movie, insiders suggest that it is the primary reason for Melania's active engagement in public projects. Reports indicate she is less interested in public appearances themselves than in the financial and promotional opportunities they create. From attending elite events to participating in media projects, her presence appears strategically aligned with initiatives that generate income. Observers note that her participation is transactional, often motivated more by potential profit than personal interest or public service, revealing the pragmatic calculations behind her visibility. Court filings and investigative reporting further reinforce the picture of a deeply divided household. The couple, while publicly cohabiting, maintains a clear physical and emotional separation. Melania reportedly resides in a distinctive 75-foot tower on the Mar-a-Lago estate, while Donald Trump occupies the main family quarters. This architectural and spatial separation mirrors the broader distance in their relationship, suggesting that proximity does not equate to personal intimacy. The details of these living arrangements, disclosed in legal documents, offer a rare glimpse into the private reality behind the public facade, emphasizing how transactional their partnership has become. Financial motivations also appear to influence Melania's residential choices. Relocating to Florida and maintaining her own financial ventures allows her to manage income independently, potentially optimizing tax advantages and ensuring control over her revenue streams. From the movie to other projects, the emphasis on securing personal profit highlights a broader pattern of financial pragmatism. While the public may perceive her role as ceremonial, her calculated engagement in high-value projects reflects a deliberate strategy of independence and fiscal self-preservation within the family dynamic. Ultimately, the Trumps' separation outside of the grift underscores a central tension in their family structure. Emotional bonds seem secondary to financial opportunity, with interactions primarily occurring in contexts that facilitate monetary gain. Donald Trump, for example, may be distant from his children outside of Ivanka, yet fully engages when profit is at stake. The Melania movie and other ventures exemplify this approach, blending visibility, public perception, and income generation into a coordinated strategy. Through this lens, the Trumps' personal relationships cannot be understood apart from their financial imperatives, revealing a family whose unity is defined more by opportunity than affection. The story of the Trump family's financial and personal dynamics becomes even more complex when examining the broader ecosystem of influence surrounding their ventures. Beyond their own enterprises, the family has cultivated relationships with corporations and high-profile figures eager to gain access or favor. Whether through sponsorships, endorsements, or media partnerships, these interactions are carefully orchestrated to maximize mutual benefit. The Trumps' ability to leverage their notoriety into influence underscores a strategic approach to wealth accumulation, one in which public attention is converted directly into financial opportunity. The Melania Trump movie exemplifies this interplay of influence and opportunity. Not only does it provide a platform for the former First Lady, but it also creates avenues for outside players to gain access to the Trump orbit. The involvement of Brett Ratner, whose own history includes connections to Jeffrey Epstein, introduces layers of complexity and controversy. Ratner's past accusations of harassment and assault do not seem to have deterred participation in this high-profile project, highlighting how financial and professional incentives often overshadow ethical considerations within this network. The project functions as much as a financial and relational strategy as a creative endeavor. Melania's personal engagement with public projects and high-profile